Lightning split the hill as Lena's dead radio screamed her brother's voice. Third floor, hurry! Eli had been missing for 3 years. Black water burst from the radio, grew hands, and dragged her through the rain to Briar Glass Hotel. The burned building stood empty, but Eli was pounding on an upper window, his fists leaving no marks. Lena chose to follow. The front doors yawned open. She stumbled into the lobby. They slammed shut behind her with a sound like a coffin lid. The storm vanished mid-thunder. In the sudden silence, a brass room tag shot from the darkness and struck her chest hard enough to bruise. 312. Scratched on the back were 2 words. He remembers. The chandelier above her creaked, and every bulb flickered to show a different reflection of her face. Some older, some broken. She had entered for Eli. Now the hotel had claimed her name. Lena rammed the poker into the front doors, but the wood bent around it like soft flesh and swallowed the metal whole. A mirror over the desk fogged from the inside, and a finger dragged through the mist, carving deep grooves that bled black water. Third floor. The letters pulsed as if alive. She forced herself toward the stairs, though the tight landing crushed her lungs with the memory of dirt sealing her in as a child. Halfway up, she found muddy footprints forming in front of her, step by step, as if something invisible climbed ahead. She shouted Eli's name. The sound snapped back at her, multiplied, whispered from every wall. A woman answered from the side hall. She wore a bellhop coat, stiff with soot, and held a broken bottle at Lena's throat. One eye was cloudy white, the other shaking. "Do not use names here," she said. "It keeps them." Then the carpet bulged. Human faces pushed up through it, mouths opening wide enough to tear. The floor split and tried to swallow Lena's foot whole. The woman yanked her back just before her ankle vanished. Lena saw teeth forming in the carpet and chose to trust the stranger because the building itself was trying to eat her. The woman called herself Mara and dragged Lena through a service passage that slammed shut behind them without touch. Pipes rattled overhead like something crawling inside them. Mara said she had lasted 11 nights by breaking patterns, by never answering fully, by never giving the hotel what it expected. At the 3rd floor backstairs, Mara froze when she saw the brass tag clutched in Lena's hand. 312 belonged to the boy who called for his sister, she said, voice cracking. That proved Eli had been here and had been calling her even before he vanished. The hallway beyond stretched longer than the building allowed, doors multiplying as Lena watched. Every door stood open except one. Room 312 was shut, clawed from the inside as if something had tried to escape and failed. Lena pushed the tag into the lock. The door inhaled and opened. Inside, ice-cold air rushed over her skin, carrying a faint heartbeat. On the bed lay Eli's red raincoat, still wet, though no rain had touched it. Under it sat a cassette recorder already spinning. She pressed play. Eli whispered, "Do not trust me if I smile." Then a second Eli voice cut in, sharper, crueler. "She always does." The walls rippled as if laughing. The hotel could copy him perfectly. Lena clenched the ring she found under the coat and chose to go lower when Mara pointed at a mirror, showing Eli bound in the ballroom below. The ballroom doors burst inward without her touching them. Music blasted from nowhere, warped and stretched. Eli knelt beneath the cracked skylight with rope around his wrists, head hanging. Lena ran straight at him. Mara screamed for her to stop, but Lena did not slow. Eli lifted his face and smiled too quickly, too wide, too wrong. That matched the warning. The rope snapped upward. It was not rope, it was thick black hair growing from the floor. It coiled around Lena's waist and yanked her down hard. Eli's body tore open from the chest like soaked paper. A taller thing unfolded from inside him, joints cracking, wearing his face like a loose mask. "He never left," it said in Eli's voice, then in Lena's. The truth hit in one violent instant. Eli had not been waiting to be saved. He had been used as a doorway. Mara drove a fire axe into the hair, splitting it apart and freeing Lena. The creature recoiled, shedding skin that still whispered Eli's name. On the floor lay a ring, warm, real, beating faintly like a pulse. Lena grabbed it and chose to run because the thing had just seen her face clearly for the first time. They barricaded themselves inside the linen room while fists slammed against the door in Eli's exact rhythm, faster each second. The door bowed inward with every hit. Mara finally spoke the truth she had been holding back. Her father had managed Briar Glass before the vanishings. He found something living beneath the furnace room, something that learned names and wore them. He fed guests to it to stay alive one more day. Years ago, Eli and other local kids broke into the sealed hotel. Only Eli came back out, and even that was a lie. He had survived by making a deal. He promised the thing one person if it spared Lena. At the same hour, the cellar collapse that scarred Lena's childhood buried her alive. It had not been chance. Eli had caused it as a distraction, giving the thing another path so it would not come for her. Her brother had broken her life to protect it. Then black water slid under the door, forming neat lines that shaped into room keys. Each key had a scratched name except hers. The door split down the middle. Lena stopped chasing voices and chose to hunt the furnace room, because hiding meant becoming one of those names. The service elevator waited with its doors already open. A sign inside read, "Do not breatha." Mara covered Lena's mouth. They stepped in. The door slammed, and the cage dropped faster than gravity allowed. Pipes screamed around them. The second Lena inhaled by mistake. The elevator jerked and something clawed across the ceiling. She forced herself still until her lungs burned. The cage stopped. The doors opened into boiler tunnels slick with soot and wet heat. Children's chalk arrows marked the walls, some smeared by dragging hands. Beside them, in Eli's handwriting, were 3 words: "Feed it, Sloop." Lena understood then. It did not only eat bodies, it fed on surrender, on giving in. At the tunnel's end stood a red steel door pulsing like a heart. She shoved it open. The furnace room yawned wide, a pit lined with mirrors. In each mirror, a different Eli stared back, some begging, some laughing, some already rotting. In the center, chained to a valve wheel, was the real one, shaking, bleeding, alive. "Do not free me," he gasped. "Break the mains." Lena chose to trust this broken version over every perfect copy. She swung the axe into the first steam pipe. It burst open with a scream of white heat. Every mirror cracked at once, slitting the many Elias into jagged fragments. The false face surged across the shards, peeling as if burned. Mara laughed in relief. We heard it. Lena struck a second pipe. Fire coughed up from the furnace, lighting the room in violent orange. Eli's chains loosened, metal bending under pressure. He collapsed forward, breathing hard. For one sharp second, hope felt real. Lena pulled him upright and pushed him toward Mara. Then the red steel door slammed shut behind them. The steam did not escape. It rose, twisting, thickening, forming a towering shape made of boiling shadow. The mirrors had not been illusions. They had been restraints. Lena had shattered the locks holding the creature's true body. The shadow surged forward, slamming into Mara and pouring into her through her mouth. Her back arched until bone cracked. She turned toward them with both eyes black and a smile that did not belong to her. Eli shoved Lena behind the furnace as Mara advanced with unnatural speed. In one breath, he told the rest. He had never promised it a stranger. He had promised it Lena. Each year, the thing dragged him back, and each year he fed it parts of himself to delay her name. Now dawn was close, and the debt was due. Mara slammed him into the valve wheel, twisting until his shoulder snapped. Lena tried to pull him free, but the passage behind the furnace narrowed into a crushing gap. The walls pressed in like the cellar that had once buried her. Her breath locked. Then she saw the pressure gauge needle shudder past red. If the release valve opened, the entire core could rupture. The hotel could collapse. Lena chose the one place she feared most. She forced herself into the gap, bones scraping, lungs screaming, reaching for the release chain that could destroy everything. She pulled. The chain did not move. Rust held it tight. Steam thickened, burning her skin. Mara forced Eli toward the open furnace, flames licking higher. "Shoes," the creature said through Mara's mouth, voice layered with Lena's own. "Your brother or your breath?" Skin tore from her palms. The wheel shifted a fraction. Mara lunged into the gap, fingers crushing around Lena's throat. There was no space left, no air, no escape. Eli, half-conscious, slammed his ring into the gear teeth. The jam broke. The valve tore open. A blast of superheated steam exploded through Mara's chest, ripping the shadow out of her in a screaming column. Lena seized the axe and smashed the furnace controls. Fire roared upward. The hotel convulsed, but a beam crashed down and pinned Eli to the floor. Lena wedged the axe under the beam and pried until it lifted just enough. She dragged Eli free as burning debris fell around them. Mara's body lay empty, still. The creature reformed behind them, now a writhing mass of faces, shifting between Eli, Lena, and strangers. It clawed after them for the steam. At the maintenance shaft, the elevator hung broken and the stairs had collapsed into black water that moved like breathing skin. Above them, dawn light cracked through the ceiling. Hatch, Eli choked. Lena spun the rusted wheel until it snapped free. Cold rain burst in. She shoved Eli upward. The creature seized her ankle, tearing flesh. She drove the axe down, severing its grip, and climbed out as briar glass collapsed inward, folding into the hill with a sound like a long exhale. They lay in the mud as the sun broke through the storm. The hill was empty. No building. No doors. No mirrors. Only scorched earth. Eli coughed, his voice reduced to a rasp that would never heal. Lena stared at the ground where the hotel had stood and understood what had changed. She no longer waited to be saved. She had chosen the narrow space, the pain, the risk, and had broken something that fed on fear. She helped Eli stand. He could not speak, but he pressed the ring into her hand. It was cold now. No pulse. As they limped away, her dead radio crackled once from her pocket. A faint whisper slipped through. 312. Lena did not answer. She crushed the radio under her heel and kept moving, because some doors stay closed only if you refuse to listen.